Hi, I'm Chris from www.stampblessings.com, and today I'm going to show you an easy way to watercolor. I'm featuring a card that I made about 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, I left it sitting in the sun and it did discolor a little bit my rose, but originally it was beautiful and this rose still kept a lot of its pretty color. But today I'm going to show you how easy it is to watercolor using Close to My Heart's A Million Little Things stamp set. And this has 3 really pretty flowers. We'll be using the rose today. So I'll put that aside. My watercolor paper is measuring 3 3/4 by 5 inches because I'm going to go ahead and layer that on black later. I have my rose ready, and I'm going to be using Close to My Heart's Intense Black ink. This ink is fabulous because it works for both memento, so alcohol-based markers, and for watercoloring. The best part is it comes now with a re-inker, so you won't run that pad dry. And I was in danger of doing that earlier because I use it a lot. If you're not familiar with Close to My Heart ink pads, they're magnetic and I just love them. They're a nice big size. They work great. So I'll be starting with my rose, and I'm just gonna stamp it a little bit so that it's off center. Press down nice and good. And then we'll get started with the watercoloring. Yep, I got a beautiful image. So I'm using today 3 Tombow markers, and I'm not sure which one I'll end up liking color-wise, so I like to take a scrap of watercolor paper and just put down the marker color so I know which color is which. And that way. And I like to start with the darkest color first. So as I'm looking at it, this one here is just a little bit off tone, but the first two, 885 and 856, seem to be perfect. And I'll start with my 856 because that's a little bit darker. And when I start on the rose, I like to start in a couple of spots, and sometimes stamps show you where to put the darker colors, but you imagine where would the shadow fall. So it would fall underneath a leaf, maybe in the center here would be a little bit darker. I don't want to get ahead of myself too much because I do want to start pulling this out while it's wet. And I have just a water brush. I do get these from Close to My Heart, but you can get them from anywhere. And I just pull in that water and I start to just pull it out. So there we go. And you can see already how pretty that looks. You don't have to be a professional watercolor or artist to get a good look. I think the key is just to start setting down some colors and then bringing it out, not letting it dry out too much. And another thing about watercolor is it's just nice and loose looking, so you don't even have to go to the lines. So look at how pretty that rose is already starting to take shape. I could come in now with, that's my darker color, so I want to just make sure that I keep it straight. Nope, that looks like that's the darker color. I might have gotten them mixed up, but let's go ahead and see. Yeah, that's the lighter one. I'm going to add a little bit of that now to start pulling it out. And that there I see is a leaf, so I want to make sure that I don't do that. Now I'm starting to get a little bit too much water, so I'll just kind of pull that in, and you can always blot it with a Kleenex. But you can see how lovely that looks. So already my first rose is pretty done. If you want to go a little bit darker, I'm going to let that dry a little bit and then I'll come back in and add some more darker. So we'll do it again where here you can see I have some lines already in the stamp image, and I'll just add a little bit of the darker color. I like to add it around the bottom, just dotting it a little bit. And I did copy this this design from Brenda Rose. She's another Close to My Heart consultant, and the card was just so beautiful. I was like, oh, I just have to make that. So again, I have a lot of water on there, so I'm going to just bring and add a little red here. And I'll add a little bit of red on this one that seems to go off the corner. There we go. And I missed this one. And I've had enough ink on here that I really haven't had to ink up a lot. So that card is basically watercolored. If it does tend to lighten as it dries. So if I felt like it was too light, I would go ahead and add in some more color. So the next thing I want to do is get the sentiment, and for the thank you, I'm going to be using Close to My Heart's May stamp of the month, and that's called Time to Celebrate. And it's got a lot of really great sentiments, scripty ones, and then little like typewriter ones that are kind of nice. Today I'm going to combine it. I'm going to use the thank you plus the sentiment from A Million Little Things. So I'm just going to put that on my block. And again, I'm going to continue to use this intense black. And I didn't really pre-plan ahead of time, so I just want to make sure that I have enough space for the sentiment. That curly Q could have gone off the edge. It would have been okay. So that looks nice. I'm going to put that aside. And then I'm going to take the sentiment from here that says, it's the little things that mean so much. But they have some other nice ones there too. They have friendship isn't one of the big things, it's a million little things. And then there's a nice Matisse sentiment too. I'm going to go ahead so you don't get tired of watching me here. Ink that up. And go ahead and center that underneath. Now, I love the look of an ink splatter as much as anybody, but I don't like the mess of getting my ink all over the place. So that's one more benefit of this stamp set from Close to My Heart. It has a whole bunch of different little ink splatters that look so natural and realistic. And I don't know if you can tell, but my ink is starting to dry and it is lightening up a little bit, so I could always go back in and darken it. But I like the way it looks. So I'm going to this is a kind of a big ink splatter. I'm going to come in and just go like that. I think I want to use the smaller ones just so that they kind of blend in a little bit. That one's over there. So look at that. That looks like I just flung it. And then I'll use the third one, which I can tell I've used that one a lot because it's still got ink on it. I didn't clean it very well. And I'm going to just arch a little bit, get a little bit of that there, come in. It's almost like it fits around those leaves there. And one more time, sneaking some little ink splatters up there. So you can see how nice that looks. This is a 10-minute card. Easy, isn't it? So that's ready to go. I just am going to layer it on my next layer, which is 4 by 5 1/4. We have a tape gun here, which is kind of messy. Go ahead and center that. I probably should have checked it better and then I'm going to layer it one more time to this, and this is our older beige paper. I'm forgetting now what it was called. French Vanilla is the new one. This is Colonial White. So I had a lot of that left over, and a lot of times that matches some of the watercolor papers because they're a little bit more yellowy. And I like to kind of keep that the same. So there you have it. A 10-minute card that looks like it took forever to create. So again, I used Close to My Heart's A Million Little Things and Close to My Heart's May stamp of the month. So thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And don't forget to visit me here at www.chrisfranco.closetomyheart.com or stop by my blog www.stampedblessings.com. Thanks.